Hey guys, what's up? This is Nikhil from dopemotions.com and welcome to this brand new After Effects tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to create a really cool looking broadcast animation in After Effects. So without any further ado, let's get straight into After Effects and get started. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. So let's start by creating our main composition. And let's rename this to main. 1920 by 1080, 30 frames looks good, and 10 seconds should be good enough, and hit OK. So let's hit Ctrl Y on the keyboard to create a new solid, and let's rename this to maybe shape underscore 01 and just leave it at white. Then let's animate the shape. So to animate this, what I'm going to do is go to, let's say, 10 frames. Hit S to bring down the scale properties, or maybe I'll just start from the beginning. Well, let's go with 10 frames. That should be good. So let's bring this down maybe somewhere around there, or maybe unlink this and let's bring this down to 75. Looks good. Create a keyframe, go back in time, and I'm going to set this to 100. So we have a simple animation. Let's go to 15 frames. Copy this keyframe, so hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V to paste it up. Then I'm gonna go to, let's say, 1 second, link this back up, and let's scale this down. Maybe somewhere around there. Also, I can also turn on the title action save, so you can be a bit more precise. Yep, that looks pretty good to me. So now we have something like this, pretty lame. Then what I can do is right over here at 1 second, I'm gonna hold Ctrl Shift D to split the layer. Hit U and get rid of all the keyframe on the scale property, and then move the anchor point to the right side, or to the left side I mean, and unlink this again. Create a keyframe on the scale, go to around, let's say, maybe 1 second and 20 frames, and bring this to somewhere around there. Maybe let's keep it at 2, looks good. So now we have a simple animation which looks something like this. Pretty cool. I think I need to create a stay keyframe. So to create that, I'm just gonna move it right over here, increase this up, and copy this keyframe, or maybe just leave it right over here. So we have a bit of a stay and then the animate. Something like this. Pretty simple. Now let's select all the keyframes and hit F9 to ease those keyframes, and let's go into the graph editor and make sure you're working in the edit speed graph and not in the edit value graph. Let's go right over here and let's tweak the keyframes. So what I'm going to do is select this handle and just move it right over here a little bit, and select this handle and move right over here, creating kind of a P. So we have kind of a snappy animation, as you can see. Same with this one, just something like this. We're going to create a snappy broadcast animation, so according to that we need to tweak the keyframes. So let's make it maybe right over here. Just take your time and try to make it as cool as possible. Pretty nice, as you can see. And for this, I'm just going to move it right over here, just like so. Pretty cool. I think this is a bit too slow, so maybe I'll just move it to 20 frames. Pretty nice. As you can see, it's looking more snappy. Maybe I'll just hit F9 again, go into graph editor and give it the same animation as the peak, like so. Yep, this is looking much better. Now let's go ahead and change the color pretty quick. So add a fill to it, and let's change the color to something like maybe a green color. Now of course you can use any color that you want, any of your favorite ones. Hit Ctrl C to copy the fill and paste on this one. So now we have something like this. Let's add a pretty quick background. So hit Ctrl Y to create a new solid, and let's rename this to BG for background. And for the background, I'm gonna go with kind of a, or maybe I'll go with white, and then I'm gonna add a 4-color gradient on this. Let's make this white, this one white as well, and for the Bottom, I'm gonna go with kind of a darker, on kind of an off-white. Now obviously I can use gradient ramp as well, but this looks more better to me. So we have some really nice control over this, so we can tweak it anytime, and this looks pretty good to me. Okay, pretty good to go. Now let's add some text. So I'm gonna type in maybe broadcast net TV. You can of course type in anything that you want. Let's type in broadcast. And by the way, I'm using the Montserrat font. You can of course use any font, any of your favorite font that you have. Let's make this kind of a gray color, a darker gray you can say. And I'm gonna make this maybe 200. That is a bit too big, maybe 150. That is a bit too small. Let's place it for now. I'm gonna place it right over here, or place it in the center, just like so, and duplicate it by hitting Ctrl D on the keyboard. Let's move this down, and let's type in net. Make this a bit bigger, or should I say a lot bigger, something like that, and maybe somewhere around like so. Maybe make this 180. Okay, this is a bit too much, maybe 170. Okay, pretty good to go. Something like that. Maybe for the net TV, I'm gonna make it, I'll place it somewhere around there. Just trying to be as precise as possible. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Let's create a shape by using the shape layer. We don't need any stroke, we need the fill, so I'm gonna use the same color for the fill, and hold Alt, Control and Shift at the same time to create a perfect square. But I don't think we need a perfect square. I don't know why I created a perfect square. Anyways, let's select the text tool and type in TV. Okay, place it somewhere around there, and I'm gonna use the green color for the TV. And place the cube. Let's rename this to cube or box. You can rename it to anything that you want, of course. Make sure the anchor point is in the center of the text as well. Okay, so let's hit U 2 times to bring down the properties, unlink the size, and now we can play around with the size. Just trying to make it as perfect as possible. Something like this. Okay, I don't think it's perfect, but it looks good. Let's align this. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so this is looking pretty sweet. Good to go with this. You can of course use any logo as well, whatever that you want. I'm gonna go with this one. Now let's go ahead and animate the text. So what I'm gonna do is, let's create a mat for our broadcast text. So let's make this maybe kind of a gray color, doesn't really matter which color it is, and create a shape just like so. Let's rename this to mat, so M_01 for mat. Put this below our text so we can see it more properly. There we go. Alright, and let's put this on the top of our broadcast text and change the broadcast text track mat to, I guess, alpha inverted, and that is gonna work. Yes, pretty nicely. So you get the idea of what I'm going for. So I'm gonna go right over here at 2 seconds maybe, create a keyframe on the position of the broadcast text, go back in time to somewhere around there maybe, and bring this down just like so. So now we have a simple animation. Pretty cool. Let's select the keyframes, hit F9 to easy ease, go to graph editor, and the same thing, make it look more nice. As you can see, pretty sweet. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for the net. So let's duplicate the track mat that we have, Control D to duplicate it, bring this right over here. Or what I can do is just set the anchor point right over here, hit S, unlink this, and set this just like so. Put it on the top of the net text and change the net text track matte to alpha inverted. Let's go right over here, create a keyframe on the position, go back in time, and just bring this up just like so. So now we have something like this. And I'll just select the broadcast text as well, hit U so we can see just the keyframes of both the layers. Select the keyframes, hit F9. And now together I'm going to tweak the keyframes. So just creating something like this. Pretty cool, as you can see. And the text is going to be below this shape. So let's place this, select all the 4 layers and put this behind the shape. So now we have something like this. And for the cube or the TV, what I'm going to do is select both the layers, hit S to bring down the scale properties, create a keyframe, go back in time somewhere around there, and let's set this to 0. Select the keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor, and this time I'm going to switch to edit value graph and tweak this handles just like so. And then let's select this one and just move it right over here, just like that. So we get a little bit of overshoot, as you can see, which looks pretty interesting. And we can also displace this a bit. So maybe I'll just displace this TV a bit, just like so. So we have really cool animation, as you can see. Pretty nice. And as you can see, we are following our snappy animation. So, you know, make it look really good. This is looking actually pretty good. Maybe I'll just make this a bit early, make this start a bit early. So now we have something like this. Maybe it's a bit too early. Let's display this. Just play around with the stuff of or the animation to get your desired effect. And I think this is looking pretty nice. Let's preview it. Pretty nice. And just to add a bit more interesting, you know, make the animation look a bit more interesting, what I can do is select this shapes that we have. Let's change the color to yellow maybe. Hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, bring this below. Let's make them blue or something like that. Not a blue, maybe let's go with a peach color. And change the color to white. Make sure both of them are white, which they are not. Oh, I switched this color to white. Make sure to make this back green, and let's select this layers. Let's make them white. We can basically copy the fill, so hit Ctrl C and Ctrl V to paste it up. And then I'm going to displace them a bit, just like so. So now we have a bit more, you know, interesting animation. As you can see, that little white that we get, pretty nice. Now before moving forward, what I can do is do some correction there, not color correction, basically just make our you know, the complete scene look more interesting. So to do that, I'm going to create a new solid. Let's rename this to grid and add a grid effect on it. There we go. Let's set this to width slider, and for the width I'm going to go with maybe 5, and for the border I'm going to go with 2. Looks pretty good. And let's see what more we can do. Maybe we can turn on the transform and set this to multiply. That's not gonna work. Maybe set this to add. Okay. Also, we can scale this down and maybe set this to 20 and add a simple choker to this, so we get some really nice dots, you know. Let me set this to 1, so you can see this really nice dots that we get. Make this black, or not black, but kind of a gray, something like so. Looks pretty interesting though. Let's see if I set this to multiply. Yep, let's make this black. Now it's looking a bit more interesting, as you can see. One more thing that I'm going to do is create a new solid again, and let's rename this to light and add a gradient ramp to this. Okay, let's set this to radial ramp and bring this right over here and bring this one right over here. Let's increase the RAM scatter just to get rid of the color bendings, and let's set the blending mode to maybe soft light, and there we have it. This is looking pretty interesting though. Let's maybe play with it, maybe make it add or maybe multiply, I guess, and let's play around with the blend original just a touch, and I think I'll go with soft light. That is looking pretty interesting. Okay, and maybe I'll just play around with the opacity a bit, something like so, or maybe let's see, I'm not really sure which one did I go with. Maybe I went with the multiply, I think. Yep, that's the one I used. Let's make this black a bit lighter, something like so, just to get a little bit of more variation into the complete scene. As you can see, pretty nice. So this is looking pretty good. You can see we could get this really nice gradient feel to this. Pretty cool. Let's add some accent to the complete animation. So what I'm going to do is select the rectangle tool. Let's change the fill to the same color as this one, the green one, and hold Control Shift and Alt at the same time to create a perfect rectangle, perfect square, not a rectangle. And let's rename this to shapes underscore, Control Z, shape. Let's rename this shape underscore 01. Hit U 2 times and increase the scale or the size, I'll say. And let's set this to maybe soft light. Oh, that's not gonna work. Maybe let's set this to add. That's not gonna work. Maybe set this to normal and just bring down the opacity to 50. That's gonna work. Place it somewhere on there just to add a little bit accent to the complete scene. Maybe 50 is a bit too much. Let's go with maybe 70. Okay, that is looking better. Let's animate this up. So hit S to bring down the scale properties, and let's go somewhere around there. Maybe 2 seconds. Create a keyframe on the scale. Go back in time to 20 frames and set this to 0. Select the keyframes and hit F9 for easy ease. Go to graph editor, and now we are working in the edit value graph. So my graph editor is going to look like this, and let's make this a bit overshoot. So we have something like this. If I move it right over here, you can see it's pretty fast. See, really nice. Let's crop this up by holding Alt and close bracket. So we have something like this. Let's hit Control D to duplicate it, and let's change the position. Maybe I'll place it somewhere around there, and hit U 2 times and decrease the scale to maybe 50 or something like that, just to make it more randomized. And one more I'm gonna go with. So hit Control D to duplicate it and place it maybe somewhere around, let's place it somewhere around there. Hit U 2 times and let's set this to 65 maybe. That looks good. And I think I'm going to place it right over here. I don't know, I'm just not able to find the correct position. Just randomly, let's place it somewhere around there. Okay, looks good to me. And then we can also displace them a bit, just like so. So we have a little bit of randomness. You can see, pretty nice. Let's go to around 2 seconds and 20 frames. Yep, 2 seconds and 20 frames, or maybe let's go to 3 seconds. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this big one. That is the shape one. Let's change the color so you can see it more properly. Let's put this on the top. And what I'm going to do is animate the scale, or let's animate the size actually. So hit U 2 times, create a keyframe on the size. Go to, let's say, maybe 3 seconds and 10 frames, and increase the size way up. You can hold Shift just so you can switch to higher increments, as you can see. Pretty cool. And then what I can do is also animate the opacity. So hit T to bring down the opacity. create a keyframe and hit U so we can see all the keyframes. Go right over here and set this to 100. So now we have something like this. Now I think it's a bit too fast. Maybe we can displace the keyframe a little bit. And also I'm gonna ease the keyframe, go to graph editor. This time I'm gonna switch to speed graph, and let's bring the keyframe a bit closer. Just like so. Pretty nice. Okay, and then what I can do is hit Control D to duplicate it. All right, and crop this up. So hold U, hit U, sorry, hold Alt and close bracket to crop this up. That is the shape 4. Bring this below the shape 1 and change the color to similar to this gray. And let's displace this a bit, and now we have something like this. Let's put it on the top. Actually, we can't see it because we didn't change the color. We need to change this color. So now we have something like that. Also, I don't want the opacity animation right over here, so I'm gonna get rid of the opacity animation and set this to 100. So now we have something like this. As you can see, really cool. Pretty nice. Also, one more thing that I forgot to do is add a background text. So let's do that pretty quick. It's pretty simple actually. Let's select the net TV, or let's select the broadcast text and duplicate this. Let's set this to no trackman and put this below. We can also change the color so we can see it more properly. So now we have the broadcast text. Get rid of the animation or the keyframes, I'll say, by hitting U and just, clicking right over here. Let's increase the size way up. And also I'm going to type in broadcast net TV. Place it right over here. Make this bigger. Like so. And change the color to something like gray color. Maybe let's set this to black and let's bring down the opacity. That would be more better. Something like this. Maybe let's go with 15, or let's go with 10 maybe. Something like that. And let's animate this. So let's go to 20 frames, I guess, or maybe go to 1 second. Hit P to bring down the position properties, create a keyframe, go back in time, and let's bring this down just like so. So now you have something like this. Go right over here, copy this keyframe, so hit Control C, Control V to paste it up. Go to 2 seconds maybe, and just move it a little bit to the left, just like so. Maybe I'll increase the size a bit, just like so. So now we have something like this. Let's select the keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor and tweak them up. So let's move this right over here and move this right over here. Pretty cool. As you can see, the animation is looking really nice. It adds that little bit of more interesting look to this. I think I'll bring down the opacity a bit more, maybe around 8 or 6. I want this to be really simple and minimal. Pretty cool. So now we can go ahead and move further with our animation. So let's go to 3 second or maybe 3 second and 15 frames. And let's type in our text, that is trending video. Oh, let's go right over here and make sure I'm not selected any layer. I don't know why the broadcast layer is getting selected, so I'm gonna just hide this for a moment. And let's type in trending video. Oh, it's a bit too big. Let's make this small. and make this white. Bring this a bit smaller and also turn on the title action save, and I'm going to place it somewhere around here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is select the rectangle tool and create a shape. So let's make it maybe an off-white, and it doesn't really matter, we can change the color later on as well. So I'm going to make it something like right over here and move the anchor point in the center. Also align this in the center just like so and move it holding shift right over here. Just like so. You can also use the arrow keys just to be a bit more precise. And let's go ahead and call this maybe line. And let's animate this up. So I'm gonna go somewhere around there and hit S to bring down the scale properties. Unlink this and we can animate the scale probably. Make sure the anchor point is in the center. And I'm gonna animate the scale. So create a keyframe, go back in time, set this to 0. Maybe I'll move this keyframes a bit further in time, just like so. And let's select the keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor, and just make this right over here. Pretty cool. I think it's a bit too fast. Let's drag the keyframe to make it really slow. Pretty good. Let's go 2 to 3 frames and copy the keyframe. So hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Go to maybe 10 frames forward and let's move the anchor point to the right side and animate the scale. So I'll move it right over here, just like so. Hold shift just to be a bit more faster. So there we go. I think the position is not proper, so I need to fix this. I'm going to place it right over here and just bring down the scale a bit. Pretty cool. Let's select all the keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor, select them all and drag the handle just like so. Oh, I think this is not working pretty good. So let's select this keyframes, go to graph editor again, and let's click on this one maybe. I don't know why we can't see the keyframes. Not really sure about it. As you can see, these keyframes are pretty lame. So let's select the keyframes, go to graph editor, and I don't know why I can't see it. So let's hit Ctrl Z. Okay, let's select this keyframes, hit F9, and it's gonna just mess up. Let's select all of these keyframes. Maybe let's put it somewhere around there, and let's select all the keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor, and let's select them all. Let's move it just like so. I don't know, let's do it again maybe. That's the solution, I guess, for this. So let's delete the keyframes and I'm going to do it again. So let's go right over here. Go to 20 frames, make this up to 100. So now we have something like this. Also bring up the position right over here. Select the keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor, and this time it's working pretty good. Now we have something like this. Pretty good. Let's go a few frames forward, copy the keyframe, so hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V to paste it up. Go a few frames forward and let's animate the scale just like so. And I'm sorry if I'm going too fast, just to make the tutorial shorter, and I don't want to make this tutorial very long, like a half-an-hour tutorial, because I know you guys may get bored. But yeah, so that's the reason I'm going a bit faster. You can of course pause the video, take your time and do it. So let's select the keyframes and just move it right over here. So now let's see, pretty sweet. And now what I can do is, let's duplicate it by hitting Control D, or maybe we don't need to duplicate it. Let's put the trending video and animate the trending video actually. So I'm gonna place it somewhere around there. Let's hit P to bring down the position properties, create a keyframe, go back in time, maybe somewhere around there, and bring this up just like so. Select this, hit F9 to easy ease, and there we have it. I think it's a bit too fast. Maybe just place it somewhere around there. Go to graph editor and just tweak it up a little bit. And I'm going to crop this up by holding Alt and close bracket, so it's not visible when the line is not there. So we have something like this, pretty sweet. We can also crop the line, so hold Alt and close bracket, and let's see our animation so far. Yep, I think this is looking actually pretty good. Oh, where is the animation? Oh, we cropped it up, so animation is gonna be something like that. Pretty nice. Now, just like before, what I'm gonna do is copy the trending video, Control D text, hit U to get rid of all the keyframes, and make this bigger, just like so. Also, let's bring the video down, video text down, place it somewhere around there, and change the opacity really low, something like that. Let's go with 15 for now. Okay, and what I'm going to do is right over here, select the trending video, put it right over here, just like that. Hit P to bring down the position properties, create a keyframe, go back in time, go forward in time, and just place it right over there, just like so. Or maybe somewhere around there. Let's hit F9. Oh, sorry for that. Let's select this one, and maybe I'll just tweak this up a little bit. Hit F9, go to graph editor, and let's make the same curve like we always do. So we have something like this. I think I'm gonna move this a bit back in time. Yep, there we go. Looking pretty good. And for the color, I'm gonna change the shape color, so I should have probably renamed it, but anyways, there we go with the green. So now we have something like that. And for this one, again, I'm going to duplicate it. Oh, hit Control D to duplicate it, bring this below, offset this a bit, and change this to white. So now you have something like that. Pretty nice. And then you can add your video or image, whatever that you want to add. So you can create a new composition for the media, hit OK, and drag your video into the media. So let's say I want to add this one, scale this up a bit, also do some pretty quick curves adjustment. Okay, so I want to use this one. So what I need to do is just drag the media composition right over here and scale this down just like so. And I'm going to place it right over here just to give it a different look, just like that. And you can also add more text right away or the video details if you want to, but I'm going to leave it just like that. And what I can do is duplicate the line, this one, hit Control D to duplicate it. Let's place this on the top of the video and change the video track matte to alpha matte, and of course I'm going to display this just like so. So now we have something like this. As you can see, really simple and easy to do. So it's pretty simple and easy technique of creating a really nice looking broadcast animation. Also make sure to turn on this broadcast TV. So let's see our complete animation so far. Yep, I think this is looking pretty nice. You can add more and more, small shape elements to make it look really complex and nice. But all in all, I hope this tutorial was helpful to you guys and you learned something new today, All the best. So that is a wrap for today. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and if it was, just smash that subscribe button, like the video, and also do comment down below if you enjoyed the video. So I will see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and yeah, don't forget to stay raw, stay creative.